What's going on, guys? Just wanted to post a quick update to how I decided to reinforce the Ridetech 4-link on my truck. If you guys been following the truck or the YouTube channel, you know that at Pro-Touring Truck Shootout we tore the frame right ahead of this rear cross member here, just from Panhard rod loading on that side. So started to try to determine the best way to reinforce this and kind of redesign the rear section of the kit just a little bit for the power the truck makes. And you know, again, most guys may not have this issue. I beat on this truck pretty hard, so you know, for an average truck or a truck that doesn't make the power this truck makes, this might have never happened. Also worth noting, mine's a 99, and the rear section of the 99 and early 2000 frames is shorter. It doesn't have quite as much material back here, so you know, that could be a factor. But here's what I decided to do. First off, I had the Panhard bar in the lower bolt position. I set it there when I originally set the 4-link up, before I had the bed on and before I had the spring settled. And at that time, it had the Panhard bar level. But since the truck's underweight and since it has settled out, I actually found that going to that second bolt hole creates a more level Panhard rod in my setup. I mean, you can see compared to the diff cover there just how level that runs. So it actually works out better for me, and it's gonna put less leverage on this bracket having it pick up at that point too. You're talking about half the distance to the bottom of the frame, so the force should be a little bit less than it was when it was in this lower hole. So that's gonna help, but obviously wanted to reinforce it no matter what. So the solution to that, let's see if I can zoom out enough for you to see it. I ran a cross link from the passenger side frame rail to the driver's side frame rail. You can see it there, it's that upper bar. So I welded some brackets onto the frame. I tried to get it as close to this Panhard rod mount as I could, because obviously that's going to do the best job of controlling those forces. So I couldn't come directly above it because the notch kit bolts right there and it was in the way, and I wanted to go flush against the frame. So I just stepped over just a little bit, kind of in between where these bolt, and welded a bracket there. I used a QA1 crosslink kit, comes with the brackets, and they actually have a bolt hole in them too. You can sort of see it behind there. That is bolted all the way through the frame and into the Ridetech notch. You can see that 1/2-inch bolt there. So it really ties it together nice. This is a 1-inch chromoly tube. You can set your own length, cut it the length you weld your rod ends into it, but it's got adjustable heims, so set a little bit of pre-tension into it. And it runs all the way over, and same story on the top of the driver's side frame rail. You want to kind of triangulate it, so I go from bottom to top. In addition to the fact that the Ridetech notch, you can see it better on this side, it has a big beefy C channel on top of the notch, so there's a little bit more strength there. So bring it all the way over to the driver's side top. So if that Panhard rod tries to push that passenger side frame rail out like it did before, it is not only going to have to push that frame rail out, but it's going to have to pull the top of the driver's side frame rail in. So you're, you know, effectively doubling the strength in that area by tying the two frame rails together. In addition to that, I went ahead and put these little adjustable rod end links here to kind of triangulate the end of that Ridetech notch back to that spare tire cross member that was original in the truck. So I did that on both sides, mostly for symmetry. This side probably isn't going to load the same way that the passenger side does, but obviously, you know, this was a strong point because it tore right ahead of it. This wasn't moving, the frame rail gave ahead of that. So this is welded right into the bottom of the Ridetech notch and also into the original frame rail, and it comes back and triangulates to this fuel tank cross member. So hopefully that will also add another element of reinforcement there to keep that bottom of that Ridetech notch from being able to twist or walk out from under the truck. You know, these links are smaller. They're only rated for like 5,000 or 6,000 pounds of load, but they're more just a, you know, one more step, if you will, to kind of help tie things in. So starting to look a little bit like a jungle gym underneath here, but I don't think it's going anywhere anymore. So that was my solution there. When I started working on it, I actually realized that the axle was coming so far out from under the truck that I don't know if you can tell there, but the inside sidewall of the rear tire was rubbing the bed on the driver's side. So I mean, you can see there's 2 inches there. It was walking 2 inches over, getting into the inside of that bed wheel well. And then the driver's side was walking so far out that the outside was actually scuffing the rolled fenders just a little bit too. Now that's closer there, so that doesn't really surprise me, but I was kind of surprised to see that the driver's side had walked over about a good 2 inches or so as that frame rail flexed. So we'll see how this works. I got a few more things on the checklist that I want to take care of on the truck while it's on the race ramps this go around. I'm going to be adding some temp sending units and putting the electric fans on Holly. So just a quick update on that. I mentioned going Dominator. I think I'm going to hold off on that. I will be able to utilize the Pro Dash that's on the truck to pick up some extra I/O, and I should be able to control the fans off the Pro Dash, still using inputs to the Holly EFI like the AC kick. So we'll play around with that. I'll put another update together on that once I get it going, but I just wanted to give a quick video to kind of show the solution that I derived here for the rear suspension, and looking forward to testing it out. I'm a little worried that it might hit the rear tires harder in the corners when I get back on the power, because you know the frame isn't absorbing as much of that shock, but we'll just have to play around with shock settings and see how that goes. All right, let me know if you guys got any questions.